Now, I thought I'd wait 24 hours to do this review of yesterday's game because I was angry, I was pissed off. Like many of us. I have no doubt, like many of us. But we'll get there. I'll get to that. So obviously, I'm here to do the review of yesterday's game away at Bramall Lane in the Premier League. Where to start? Lineups come out, and we see what we see. I wasn't happy seeing, Ward-Prowse and Souček in that double pivot, if you will. It just wasn't. It doesn't fill me with great expectations. It's not worked so far, so why do we continue to, trying to manifest something that's not there? It doesn't work. It hasn't worked the times we've tried it. So why are we still doing it? Yet we'll come to something that changed that, which I don't know whether it was deliberate. I don't know whether it was just something that was forced upon us, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, as I say, the lineup came out. It was what it was. 5 players currently out injured, suspended, away with AFCON, whatever. Bowen comes back. I wasn't expecting great shakes out of the game. You guys that were watching or have watched the preview, not many of you, but it is what it is. Those that watched the preview would have heard me say 1-1 or 1-0 Heart and Head as my predictions. I never expected it to play out the way it did. So let's get down to the crux of the matter. The first half comes around and we're quite happy to allow Sheffield United to have all of the possession. This side that have only scored 15 league goals this season. This team that have only won 2 games all season. And here we are allowing them almost, I think it was 60% possession in the first half that allowed them to knock the ball around and leave us not necessarily chasing shadows, because, we do tend to sit back and we're quite happy to let teams do what they do. What did get me was there was no impetus from us to press a little bit higher up the pitch. We've seen it against Arsenal. We've done it. We know exactly what we're capable of when it comes to that side of things. But then something happened in the lineup, if you will, which surprised me. And that was Danny Ings in a 10 behind Jarrod Bowen. And well, what can I say? I thought Danny Ings was fantastic. I thought we worked hard. We get the first goal, which was an element of luck, the way it spins to Maxwell Cornet. But again, Danny Ings is there. He gets his shot away, it deflects and spins as it does, and Cornet come from the right hand side over to the left. It's swapped with Fornals. Obviously, the ball is spinning in the air as well, and he a lot of concentration, and obviously beats the keeper at his near post. Could the keeper have done better? Could it have been a better shot? Did it matter? No. It's 1-0 West Ham, and I thought Sheffield United were hard done by at that moment. I thought they'd probably deserved to still be level. I wasn't going to argue. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing what goes on. But then the same defensive frailties that have always cost us come back to the fore. They come back to the top of the pile. Zuma loses his man. It's a really good cross, but Zuma switches off. He loses his man. And it's a really good header. But the reaction and the reflexes of Areola were superb. Absolutely superb. He gets to it and he saves it. He can't do much else. Listen, I've seen some stuff on social media. He's got to do better. He's palmed it back into the danger zone. Listen, just be grateful he saved it. Most keepers will tell you that reaction save it's done in the blink of an eye. Most keepers will tell you you don't really have a choice where that ball's going to go there. And lo and behold, then another defensive frailty comes from James Ward-Prowse, who again loses Ben Brereton Diaz. He gets in front of him, toes it off of Ward-Prowse's as he goes to volley it clear. Ball just sits there, bang. He just rifles it into the back of the net. You know, the same guy that's not scored a goal all season in Spain goes and bags a goal against us. His last goals in English football, just quickly, were against Millwall. His one on return was against West Ham. You couldn't write a script if you tried. So then, obviously, that happens. I believe we go in at half-time. Probably fair. It's not, you know, we've not been great. Tell you what the issue, we come back out in the second half and they play us off the park for the first 20 minutes of that second half. We looked like we were bottom of the league and they looked like they were sixth. It was all so easy for them. I remember Brereton Diaz going through. Soufal tries to play him offside, gets it completely wrong. He races through. Probably could have taken another 2 touches, but he decides to go early with a shot and drags it about 5 yards wide of the opposite post. Really, really poor confidence thing. I don't know, but really, really poor from Diaz. Then we make a substitution. And this is where I was saying earlier about the midfield. Takes off Maxwell Cornet, David Moyes, and brings on Ben Johnson. He decides to play Ben Johnson in the middle of the park. There were chants, and you could hear them on the telly if you don't know what you're doing. You know, I think the fans wanted to see Fornals taken off. You know, Cornet, I felt, didn't deserve to go off. Didn't have the greatest of games, but I don't think he deserved to go off at that point. But Johnson comes on. And obviously, I do this. So I watching the game, I had my laptop in front of me and I'm refreshing the Twitter, the X live kind of feed as people are talking about with the hashtag and whatever. And it started off, you know, Johnson in the middle of the park. Is this what we've come to? Can't believe this is what we're doing. Can't believe this is how it is. Can't believe blah, blah, blah. And then there was, hang on a minute, we actually look better with Johnson in midfield. Is that Johnson or is that Pirlo? There were all of these comments, one after the other. And it made me laugh. Because it's Ben Johnson. Jack of all trades, master of none. Is that the phrase? Sorry, sore throat. I'm still coming out the other sides of having a cold or flu, whatever. So I apologise. But it was a masterstroke, and he was involved in us getting the penalty to go 2-1 up. He's down on, makes a break from the middle of the park, he makes a few passes, ends up out on the left. There's a couple of passes in there, triangles. It ends up at the feet of Danny Ings, who Cruyff turns. Not something I'd ever thought I'd hear myself say. Danny Ings Cruyff turns. But he kind of drags it back between his legs, gets past his marker, and then gets bundled to the ground as he looks to get a shot away. I think he kicks the back of the guy's foot as he sticks his foot in there, doesn't make contact with the ball. Job done. Penalty to West Ham. James Ward-Prowse steps up. Bosh, 2-1 West Ham. And it's a goal essentially made on the South Coast. You know, Danny Ings played for Southampton. So did James Ward-Prowse. 2-1 West Ham. Fantastic. Here we are. Sorry about that. Here we are. 2-1 up in a game that, between two poor sides, it was just a case of who was going to be the poorer. I said it before the game to friends that I was watching the game with. It's a case of who's going to be the worst. Who's going to be more shit out of two shit teams? That was the exact words I used. And then everything starts to go against us. I'll go there. Starts to go against us from the sending off, the moment of the sending off for the tackle by Brewster on Emerson. Now, in real time, I shouted that that's a red. It happened very quickly. The ball goes back to Emerson. He looks to clear it with I think it was the outside of his left or the inside of his right as he's facing his own goal. Brewster comes in. Ball's already gone. The ball's probably half a second gone. Brewster's both feet off the floor. One makes complete contact with Emerson's ankle just above. I called for a red. Now, here's the kicker for me. Right? Souček comes running in like he does, right? And listen, I'm really glad to see it. I'm really glad to see that the boys were there, kind of backing each other up. Souček comes flying in, bit of a melee, turns to the referee, throws his hands up. Coufal then comes in, kind of weaves his way through the crowd, and he actually walks. It gets hold of a Sheffield United player, and it possibly might be Brewster, puts his arm on his shoulders and walks him away. He actually physically moves him away from the other West Ham players. Go back and watch it. I'm not wrong. Now, the referee dillies-dallies, ums and ahs and whips out his yellow. And then the old radio in his ear hole comes through. Might want to come and have another look at that, son. I think you got that wrong. Now, that was the start for me of when the referee lost control by the yellow card. He goes over to his monitor, and to be honest, he looked at it probably about 15 or 20 times more than I felt he needed to. He didn't need to look at it as often as he did. It was quite obvious what had happened in the first 2 or 3 times of seeing it. Brewster's cracked him straight on the ankle. If his foot was planted, Emerson's out for some significant time because that's a leg break. It's the fact that he jumps because he's aware he jumps into the clearance or lifts both feet off the floor as he comes in and connects. That's what saves Emerson. But the referee got that wrong. Only dished out. Yellow comes back out, does that with a yellow card, and then brandishes his red. But just after he brandishes the red, and listen, Brewster already knew because Brewster was standing on the touchline by the dugouts and walked straight down the tunnel afterwards. Now, this is where it gets a bit annoying, and this is where I started to get angry. Was the yellow card for Vladimir Coufal. Case, and for me, might be wrong, and I'd like to know the referee's opinion on this. For me, it's a case of mistaken identity. Souček being the one that was in and had the shove. It's Souček that should have got the yellow card, not Coufal. And the yellow card obviously then comes back to haunt us slightly. Bearing in mind that we're already on 92 minutes of 96. Something stupid like that, 94, 93. Okay, so then the ball's knocked around and it comes out. Comes out to the right hand side. And Coufal, they're about to play a quick 1-2 past him, and he goes to step in to make the challenge, makes connection with the side of the guy's foot. If you watch it in slow-mo, you can see it. He makes connection with the side of the guy's foot. Yellow card comes out. We know what's happening. And to be fair, Coufal's laughing because he knows that the first one shouldn't have been him. I don't think we're going to be able to argue it because it's 2 yellows, so that's out the window. So he gets sent off. Free kick. There's a couple of little knock around, and then the second passage of play from the free kick, the ball's forced out to the right-hand side. Not the left, as I thought. Comes out to the right-hand, their right-hand side, our left. And the ball's whipped into the box. Areola comes out to punch. And listen, we know what happens. The referee points to the spot. both him and is it McBurney get hit the floor? Sheffield United players are all up in arms. Referee points to the spot. Then you watch it in slow-mo. Now, we've all seen... let me take that back. I'd assume all of us have seen, if not a lot of us have seen, Areola's post on Instagram last night. We've seen that, the bloody lip. We've all seen the screenshot of McBurney's arm across his shoulder and across his neck and you know. It's not a penalty. I'm trying to keep myself calm here because I can feel myself getting rolled up again like I did last night. It's not a penalty. He comes out. He is impeded by McBurney's arm. Does he get his timing wrong? Does he make a complete hash of coming out to punch the ball? Yes. Does that mean it's not a free kick and it's a penalty to Sheffield United? No, it doesn't. Letter of the law is he's impeded by McBurney. The arm in the face. It's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. The fact that VAR then didn't turn around and go, okay, you made another error there, son. I think they only get one a game, don't they? It's fucking ridiculous. Penalty, you know, again, there's Areola's down. There's, you know, a lot of backwards and forwards. Areola ends up going off. Fabianski comes on. At the time, I wasn't against it. Keeper goes the right way, but he moves after the ball. The ball's been struck, so he doesn't have the chance to get to the ball. 98 minutes, 99 minutes, possibly, of a 96-minute game. 99 minutes of a 96-minute game that should have been, because that was what the time was added on, 6 minutes. 98 minutes, 99 minutes. But it's not even over there. Like, you feel aggrieved that we've dropped 2 points off of the back of a penalty that should never have been given, and a second yellow to Sheffield that should never have been given, by the way. The second yellow should have been the first one. But listen, it doesn't end there, does it? No, of course it doesn't. Wouldn't be the West Ham way if it did. Ball goes out to our right. It's with Ben Johnson, who cuts back onto his left and puts in a fantastic cross. And Jared Bowen is he's manhandled to the ground by Anel Ahmedhodzic. Ahmedhodzic. He's manhandled. The guy literally has hold of Bowen like The Rock used to in wrestling, where he used to do the spine buster and slam him to the floor. That's how he's got hold of Bowen. Bowen's going backwards. The geezer's got hold of him. Both arms are clearly around Jared Bowen. Bowen starts off with his hand on his shoulder, trying to hold him away. And the geezer literally has him and takes him down. TNT Sports showed the game yesterday. And after the game, both Rio Ferdinand, who didn't exactly enamour himself with the West Ham faithful before the game, with some of his comments, him and Joe Cole both believe that it was a Stonewall penalty because he's been absolutely taken out. Now, Ahmedhodzic has tweeted after the game, after he's seen this, 5 hours after he'd seen this this comment on Twitter, and he turns around and he says, it's clearly biased. You can see in the unedited footage where he pulls me down, which makes me lose sight of the ball. Obviously, the footage that was shown is edited to make it look like a penalty to West Ham. Pardon my French, but what a load of bollocks. I get players trying to defend themselves. I fully understand that. But it's there. It's clear as day. It's a penalty. He's wiped him out. Now, the referee blows for a handball on Jared Bowen because as he falls backwards, Bowen's arms go up. The ball bounces off his hand. And the referee blows for a free kick to them. Now, it's clear. The game ends. The game ends a few moments later, 2-2. And Listen, I'm not angry with the result as a result. We're 2-1 up with 2 minutes more played than should have been before the penalty. We should have had a penalty afterwards if you're going to go down that road. I'm not angry with the result. I'm angry about what happens. The result, when you're looking at the fact that we've got 5 first team squad out. Kudus and again the African Cup of Nations. Hopefully, again won't be in a bit. Alvarez is injured. Okay. Antonio is injured. And Ben Rama suspended. So there's 5 first team squad members out. Obviously, Bowen was, I wouldn't say rushed back, but it does concern me that he has been. Fornals was in there. We had 6 academy products on the bench. Callum Marshall, Lewis Orford, Kalen Casey, Divine Mubama, Ollie Scholes and Ben Johnson, who obviously came on. That's good. That's good. The amount of people that have complained that we don't have these youngsters on the bench and we use 2 keepers. And then the first one's to moan, and I saw it yesterday before the game, that there's too many youth on the bench. There's nothing to come off the bench. The first team better get it. First 11 better get it done. I get it. Again, opinions. They're everywhere. When you do this, opinions are everywhere, and you can't agree with everyone. There's no point in arguing because your opinion doesn't necessarily make you right, and my opinion doesn't make me right. Exactly what they are just opinions. It's my opinion yesterday that their penalty wasn't, and we should have had one. Ahmedhodzic turns around and says it shouldn't have been a penalty. That's his opinion. This is mine. It's that situation we find ourselves in. 2-2 draw. We're 6th, right? Listen, it's not pretty football. I get that. It's boring at times. Yes, it is. Is it effective? Most of the time. Most of the time it's effective. Can we play a different way? Yes, we've seen it against Arsenal. We haven't lost. We are still 6th in the Premier League. We are still in the knockout section of Europe for the 3rd season running. 3rd season running in Europe. Semi-final, won the trophy in the knockout stages again. 6th in the Premier League. Now listen, we were relegation candidates last year. Okay, going into the last 5 or 6 games, we were all a bit worried. Ooh, we're 6th. Okay, in much the same as we were 4 seasons ago. 4 seasons ago, I think we drew against Aston Villa. They stayed up, and we were already up 2 games beforehand. So we were relegation candidates that season. We then finish 6th the year after, qualify for Europa League. Okay. We finish 6th, qualify for Europa League. Then we get to the semi-final of the Europa League. We then qualify again for Europe. That year we win the Europa Conference League last year, thus qualifying us for the Europa League again this season. We got to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. Do I think we sacrificed the Carabao Cup? Yes. 2 wins against Arsenal and Manchester United. For me, and I'm not saying anyone else, and it's just my opinion. For me, the 2 wins against Man United and Arsenal justify what we ended up doing in the Cup. Okay, I'd love to have won the Cup. Don't get me wrong, don't shoot me. But it justified it. It solidified us in that 6th place. 8th place could give us European football again next season. We are 3 points clear of Manchester United. We are 5 points behind Tottenham. Come on, behave. Be happy. It's not great football. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying you should be happy with the football. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you should be happy with where we are. The progression from, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. The amount of heartache, relegations, that we've suffered as fans. I've suffered. I'm 45 this year. I was 18 months old when we won the FA Cup. I then suffered for years up until last season. Up until what? July last year when we won. I was in Disney and we won the Europa Conference League. Right, we lifted a trophy. Buzzing. These last 3 or 4 years have been some of the best we've had as West Ham fans. European nights at the London Stadium. Yeah, winning the trophy. Forget, well, I don't care whether, it's a third-rate European, don't care. It's a European trophy. Champions of Europe, we know what we are. Okay, I'm not saying the football's pretty, but it's got us to 6th in the league. Do you see where I'm coming from? You might not agree, and I can appreciate that. And if you don't agree, leave your comments below on this video and let me know why you don't. Okay? I don't want to get into arguments. I don't want to get into rows. I want to have a sensible and justifiable conversation with other fans with difference of opinions to myself. We can have a conversation. It hasn't got to get aggressive. It hasn't got to get rude. It hasn't got to get, descending to us swearing at each other. I don't want to do that. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a debate. Might even do it as a video. Come on, we'll have a chat. But it's effective at the moment and we're 6th, okay? Now, there is no more to say on the matter. I've been going half hour. I'm on my own. This is probably the longest video I've done on my own. We're 6th in the league. Let's stop arguing amongst ourselves. There's too many channels out there, too many Twitter pages out there that are all so negative and painful. I don't want to be that, okay? I'm upbeat. We're 6th. In March, we return to European football on Thursday nights under the lights at the London Stadium. We're 6th in the Premier League, and we're not necessarily flying, but it's good. These are good heights for us. Got what we got? 11 days left, 10 days left of this transfer window. It looks like Calvin Phillips is going to sign. I'm just looking at my phone here and on Twitter. Looks like we're going to get Calvin Phillips in the next couple of days on loan. If we can get another couple of signings over the line, that Osman from Nordsjælland, or even Steven Bergwijn, get Kudus back from AFCON, get Paqueta back fit, get Agerd back because Zuma's knees worry me. If we can do this, get Antonio back, gives us options off the bench. Get these guys back and I can see us kick on for the rest of the season. Maybe another cup semi-final in Europe. Maybe another cup final in Europe. Hell, maybe even another European trophy. And if it is, we'll party. Like the video, guys. Comment underneath. Like I say, come back to me. Let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation. I like it. I like having those conversations. Share this amongst your West Ham family and friends on your social medias and stuff. If you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing these a lot more often, hopefully getting some more videos out to you as well. Getting a little bit more confident, 29 minutes, a little bit more confident of doing these on my own. So let's share the love. Let's get this out there. You guys come back to me, like, comment, subscribe, all of that malarkey. And hopefully I'll see you a bit further down the line. We haven't got a game now until, I think, Bournemouth, obviously being out of the FA Cup. So I think it's, I think our next game is a week Thursday. So I'll have a preview out for that one. And come on, you Irons. There's not much else to say.